Welcome to the Gazette's Her Women of Achievement Honoree Spotlight. I'm your host, Emily Hawk. I'm the Special Sections Editor here at the Gazette. And with me today is our Her Honoree, Cece Roudabush with New Harmony Line. Hi, Cece.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. But first, can we maybe or can you actually tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I grew up in Southwest Iowa, Creston, Iowa. Came to the University of Iowa in 1982 and never left. I'm one of those. And my family, we had two children and raised them in the Iowa City schools. And I was also a teacher in the Iowa City schools for 32 years. I taught general and adaptive music. I moved to the junior high in 2001 or so, and I taught a variety of things there. I taught personal development, which is like a health class, and success center, in addition to all my music classes. And I got to teach something called Flex Music and Rock Band 101 and music tech, super cool. And my last year, I got to teach at City High, taught the Elements of Music program and Hear My Voice, which was for students who were not interested in band, orchestra, or choir, but they still were musical. So lot of different experiences. When I retired in 2021, I joined New Harmony Line, which is a nonprofit, and I had taught with their application HyperScore for 18 years. And so to join as the director of education was a huge honor for me. And the fact that it's a nonprofit is a wonderful thing for me. And so I've been with the company just about 3 years now, or 4 years now.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that about yourself. And obviously, you're being recognized for your work at New Harmony Line. Could you tell us what inspired or currently inspires you to do that work?
Well, I taught thousands of students to compose during my time in junior high, about 15 years, my last 15 years of junior high. And I had gone to a workshop in 2005, and I remember the professor of the students who'd created it at MIT Media Lab was presenting it. And I just said, this is the missing link. I've been missing this in my classroom. And so I started using it in my classroom. And over the years, I found kids absolutely, it was so easy to use to write music, whether or not you'd had any experience. And so when COVID came around and they took my computer lab out of my classroom, I was in mourning. I'm like, how do I teach kids to compose without that software? And I tried a couple of other things, and we paid some big bucks for software, but it just wasn't the same. And so when I called the company, they said, we're working on a web-based version. And I thought to myself, I'm retiring. I wonder if I could work on that. And so the timing melded perfectly. I asked them when I grew up if I could work for them. And they said, sure, you could work. Or, you want to work for us? And I said, yes, I do. So I piloted the beta. I was the beta pilot tester for the web-based version. And then I have been teaching it and presenting across the country, and I just finished two clubs at LaSalle Catholic School in Cedar Rapids and Northwest Junior High in Coralville. And I'm currently working at a youth detention center.
That's awesome. So,
Mhm.
long story short, you're a very busy person at the moment.
Yes, I keep busy.
Well, that's great. And could you maybe tell me, Cece, what bold choices have you had to make to get to where you are today?
I thought that I always wanted to be a teacher. I was interested in music therapy, and I was very afraid to do a dual major in college, but I ended up getting a music education and music therapy degree at the University of Iowa. And I actually even had a minor in counseling. And everything that I studied at the University of Iowa has assisted me in my career in the 32 years in the schools. And then as I continue to teach other groups in these past 4 years with New Harmony Line. And so that was a very bold choice. I got an opportunity to retire early from the Iowa City schools. And I said, what am I going to do? Well, then New Harmony Line came along. And so that was a perfect segue into doing something educational, but still being employed. That was a huge, bold choice for me, but that has turned out to be wonderful because I'm flying across the country and presenting. I have a meeting with somebody in Australia on Monday night, and I work with kids all over the world and adults who are teaching children how to compose. And so I think that choice was huge to go ahead and, delve into something that I wasn't sure I actually sometimes day to day don't know what I'm going to be doing. And as a teacher, you have to be very flexible. So that's worked out great.
And so maybe, Cece, could you tell us what advice you would have for others who are currently building their story?
I would definitely say don't be afraid to try something new. When I first started teaching, I would say the first 3 years I really struggled. You had to do behavioral things, you had to plan. I taught 13 classes 13 different classes every 2 days, and that was really challenging for me. And at one point I thought I was going to give up, and I hung in there, ended up having a 32-year career. But I want people to make sure that they are thinking about, if they start to do something and it doesn't quite fit with what gives them joy in life, that they should potentially look for other opportunities. And don't be afraid to say, I'm glad I gave this a chance. I don't think it's for me. I'm going to try something else. And if you're passionate about what it is, it doesn't matter necessarily what it is that you're making for a salary. It's more about your enjoyment and your love of the work that you do. I am glad I stayed in teaching. But I want people to think about that opportunity to have choice now. I think you have a lot more, you and the women in our world have a lot more choice than I did 37 years ago,
Mhm.
in what I wanted to do as a career.
Absolutely. I think that's wonderful advice, Cece. And we're just going to go ahead and close with that. So thank you so much for being with us today and answering all of my questions. And thank you to our viewers for helping us celebrate our 2024 Her Women of Achievement. For all of our 2024 Her Honoree interviews, go to www.her.today. Thank you so much, Cece.
Thank you, Emily.